We are nearing the end of summer, and before August does end, I do want to release a video water related. And surprisingly enough, LEGO has had an interesting history with water themed sets and water sub themes for their main line sets. Now in this video, I'm not going to cover every single water sub theme or theme LEGO has released. However, I do want to cover the ones that I find most interesting. In 1995, LEGO released the Aqua Zone theme. I don't know much about the actual theme itself, but I do want to talk about what I would consider the highlight of this theme and what was actually the main part of the theme, which was Aquanauts. LEGO Aquanauts is always fascinating to me. It's seemingly this scuba diving theme going off to this planet and mining crystals. Chrome silver crystals, might I add. Yes, LEGO was not afraid to use chrome back in the day. We have these underwater vehicles that some are just straight submarines while others have like wheels on them. It's a bit weird, but I like it. I think this is really cool and it's really nice. And probably my favorite part about this are the minifigures themselves. They have these translucent blue helmets along with this big armor piece, and they all come with those flippers. Minifigures are pretty detailed for 1995, and they all just look fantastic. And from what I could tell, the faction they are going up against for this are the Aqua Sharks, who have a very different color scheme. LEGO liked to do this a lot back in the day, especially when it came to their space themes, where they use a lot of translucent pieces on the actual like vehicles and stuff. And for Aquanauts, you have a yellow and translucent blue color scheme for them, while the Aqua Sharks actually have a black and translucent orange color scheme on them. But the prize jewel of easily, without a doubt, the Neptune Discovery Lab. This set is amazing. It has two giant raised 32 by 32 base plates, along with like a landing station on the left side for the submarine. And then on the right side is just like a little hatch area, but the main area itself has these two giant translucent blue doors along with a crane on top of it. It just looks amazing. The interior is sort of a bit lackluster, I will say, but then again, the main appeal of the set is the exterior of it. It does have a nice underwater vibe to it. Those base plates really do look like you're on the seafloor. It's just so nice, and it just looks amazing from every picture. And for 1995, it does scream LEGO system to me, because back in the 90s, LEGO was using a lot of these big pieces, especially when it came to their space themes, for stuff like this, where it's like a headquarters build, and this one does look pretty nice. And good luck finding those blue base plates, and good luck even finding the set for cheap. If I do want to get a set from the 90s, it would definitely be this one. But now moving on to the next theme I find most interesting, and it is one of LEGO's most famous themes. All the way back in 2007, we have Aqua Raiders. Now, I wasn't there for any of these sets, but man, they look nice. And it is during that time where LEGO was using this animated box art instead of just simply taking a picture of the set. They're using like a CG animated box art. They did it a lot for the Batman sets in 2006. And instead of having two factions like LEGO did back in the 90s, this was kind of a predecessor to Atlantis, where you have this underwater research team fighting against these giant sea monsters. Like for one set you have a giant crab, for another you have a tiger shark, and then in the big set you had that giant squid. But these sets were pretty nice, and even the smaller ones as well. Then you get some of the bigger stuff where you have a giant anglerfish, then you have a shark fighting a submarine, then you have a sort of modern submarine for one of them looking at a shipwreck, then you have a more classically inspired submarine fighting that crab. But then again, probably my favorite type of underwater set is just a sea base, and the Aqua Base Invasion set is pretty much that. This set is super nice and calls back to that Aquanauts color scheme with those trans blue pieces, along with that bright yellow for the framework. Now the interior does have a lot more going on in this one, I will say, and it does use base plates, but they're not raised. Like you have the foundation for that landing pad for the submarine, and then you have the foundation, which is also just like that underwater rock area. Obviously this set wasn't made to be looked at from the interior, so if you are displaying this set, it is much better to show it from the outside. I feel like when you think of water themes for LEGO sets, Aqua Raiders is definitely one that comes into your head, but I think everyone can agree that when it comes to water sets, no other theme pops into your head first compared to LEGO Atlantis. I remember the only one I had a kid was the Deep Sea Striker set, which was that giant underwater scorpion. But even then, looking back at some of these sets, they are amazing. And again, we do have another headquarters style base with that Atlantis Exploration HQ, but the set does focus more on the vehicles rather than some of the locations. We do still have a lot of location sets, but before we cover the rest of those, let's actually talk about some of these vehicles. Some of them are a sea jet, but others are mainly submarine focused, like the Neptune carrier or the Typhoon turbo sub. And if you are looking for a set that has wheels that can go underwater, do not worry, because the Seabed Scavenger is there to fulfill your needs. But this theme does also have a lot of giant animals, like the Guardian of the Deep, which is a giant shark, the Deep Sea Striker, like I said earlier, which is the set that I had. But the bigger sets mainly focused on the actual locations. You had the Gateway of the Squid set, which you had a giant squid, of course, but you also had a nice little gate area that has some treasure. And then the two biggest sets of the wave. You had the Portal of Atlantis set, which looks amazing. You have the giant shark mouth in the front that leads to the staircase with the actual portal that also has all the rings that you would find in the other sets. And there's also a nice Aqua Raiders Easter egg there with that little skeleton opening the gate. And the portal build itself, from the looks of it, it doesn't look that sturdy, but it does have this nice design to it. You also have some nice sea creatures as well. And that's another thing Atlantis does very well. It's all these sea creatures you get, not just the buildable ones, but the minifigures themselves. They'll have these specialized heads, which I'm pretty sure helped inspire Chima. But then you get probably the most important set of them all, the City of Atlantis. This has a nice marble colored build with a lot of tan, gold, and white pieces. You have this golden statue in the actual building itself, and this is just a really nice set. And honestly, if you take away some of the seaweed elements, honestly, you could have a good Greek mythology building. And you have that amazing anglerfish minifigure. That head mold is absolutely nuts. All in all, Atlantis is a theme that people want to see return, because I'm pretty sure it only lasted for 2 years, from 2010 to 2011. But man, it is just such a unique wave that it's something that we just don't see in LEGO a lot anymore. And it's really sad, but it is something that we at the least got to enjoy. Even if I only had the one set, I still enjoyed this theme. Now going to my personal favorite sub-theme based on water, and that is LEGO City Coast Guard. This is a sub-theme that started all the way back in 2008, and the last time we saw a whole wave dedicated to them was back in 2017. But these sets are some of my personal favorite when it comes to LEGO City, like the Coast Guard platform. It's such a unique set, and it reminds me a lot of Metal Gear Solid 2. If you played that, you could kind of see the vibe I get from that, especially when it comes to the color scheme. You also have all kinds of Coast Guard patrol boats, which are usually the flagship for every, Coast Guard sub-theme wave. But my personal favorite set from these is so simple, yet it gets the point across. It's the Coast Guard 4x4 from 2013. You get a nice Coast Guard minifigure along with a Coast Guard diver with a rack to hold all the scuba equipment and a nice little diving boat. We do this type of set a lot, whether it be this like $20 version or a $40 version, which we saw in 2017 and in 2008. You also get a lot of helicopters in this sub-theme, but I mean, we're talking about the water aspect of it, not so much the aerial aspect of it. But we do have to kind of go back in time for a bit, because there was a Coast Guard headquarters released in 2004 when LEGO City theme was labeled under World City. But this Coast Guard headquarters set is pretty nice. That raised base plate looks amazing, along with the detailed rock formations and the sand there. The building itself, it's same thing like that Aquanauts Neptune base. It's not more about the interior, it's more so about the actual base plate and what's happening around the base plate. Now, before you do ask, there is water in the set, so I do consider this a water-related set. Not to mention, it is pretty much on a beach. But LEGO's most famous original theme is not exempt from the water branding. Yes, in 2021, we had Ninjago sets based off water. This was the first time our ninjas were going down to the sea, and we had the Seabound sets. And sadly, this was the first time that I never purchased a set from a Ninjago wave. It wasn't so much because of the wave. I loved all the sets released here, but there was just other sets I was more focused on during August of 2021, like a UCS gunship, which was pretty expensive at the time, and I do limit how much sets I do purchase in like a 2-month span. But the sets you do get here are pretty nice. The cheaper ones are just, you know, your run-of-the-mill ninja vehicles like Lloyd's Mech and Jay's Scuba Car. Granted, they do look pretty nice and they are water related, but it's the bigger sets you do focus on more, especially in this wave because Nia gets her own personal Sea Dragon, which is a beautiful build, and the Temple of the Endless Sea is nice as well. But out of all the Ninjago temples, this one just doesn't stand out to me as much. I mean, the Serpent build is really nice, but it's a neat idea dividing it up like that, but I just don't think it works the best. And lastly, the Hydra Bounty. This is a neat idea for a set. You obviously have the Destiny's Bounty, but as a water vehicle, and this one looks super nice. It actually looks more like a yacht than it does a submarine. We do kind of get some Destiny Bounty variants, like we had the Land Bounty in 2019, but I mean, this one just looks so nice. The white color scheme, the gold highlights all around look nice, and that translucent blue just screams underwater. It was nice to see Ninjago switch up a bit and take the ninjas underwater, and it's an idea that I do kind of want to see return. And one of the reasons I thought about making this video is to talk about the Avatar way of the water sets. Since we are getting a new Avatar movie at the end of this year, I kind of want to talk about this because I didn't have this channel back in 2023 when these sets did come out. But whereas the sets based off the first movie were focused on Pandora, obviously, all these sets are focused more on the underwater aspect, which was a big part of the film. You have the Ilu Discovery set, which was the cheapest one out of the wave. Then you have the Skim Wing Adventure. Then you also had the Mako Submarine set. And my personal two favorite sets of the wave. Granted, they were a bit overpriced, but I think they were the best without a doubt. You have the Payakin the Tolkien and Crab Suit set, which was $100 and the biggest one out of the wave. And my personal favorite out of every Avatar set released during this time, the Metkayina Reef Home, which is just an amazing build. Just like the Avatar sets released in 2022 all had like a side build of Pandora, all these sets have like a side build that is related to the underwater scenes. For a lot of them, it's pretty basic. It's just like some rocks and some coral. And easily the best one when it comes to that water terrain is the Metkayina Reef Home. It just looks amazing. On the top, you have, of course, the reef home itself. And then in between them, you have those octagon bases, which are supposed to be like the surface of the water. And then under the water, you have these two pillars holding up the home and then a rock formation all the way on the left side. And then in between all of that, you have these amazing reef colors along with fish displayed everywhere. It's such a nice set. And the best part about this Avatar wave was the box art. The box art for all these sets are nothing short of gorgeous. They just wrap around the box with all these tropical colors. It just looks amazing, man. The box art alone made me want to buy some of these sets. Now, lastly, before I close this video, I want to talk about my personal favorite set based off water, and that is a Monkey Kid set, and it is the Dragon of the East Palace set. And this set also made me more interested in the Journey to the West stuff. Wow, what a beautiful set. I mean, where did you even begin with something like this? It's still a set I have yet to buy, and I really do hope it's not retired yet. The closed version of the set alone just looks amazing. The fact that you could open it to reveal the throne room and stuff is awesome, and there's so much space on the other side of the set as well. The interior is nothing short of amazing. The minifigures are fantastic. Everything about this set is just amazing. The dragon build on the left side, the colors, the giant staff in the back, it's all just amazing, and it is easily my favorite water related set ever. And that is the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is just something I wanted to throw together really quick just to, you know, cap off the summer. And it is an idea I've been thinking about since May because just water related Lego sets are always just so interesting to me. They can do so much with them and they have so many different ideas, as you just saw here. I hope this video made you guys appreciate these water related themes more because it's something that, you know, you think you'd see a lot, but it's something you only see every few years, especially if it's an original theme or if it's a sub theme. But I do hope LEGO does make another theme related to underwater exploration. It's just something that's so interesting and just really nice to see in LEGO. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.